Mr. Speaker, development programmes in the occupied Palestinian territories work to preserve the prospect of a negotiated two-state solution and simultaneously improve the lives of Palestinians in line with the UK's long-standing approach to the Middle East peace process. And although the UK will no longer provide direct funding to the Palestinian Authority, we recognise the importance of capacity building of Palestinian institutions.
John Howell.
I thank my right honourable friend for that response. Earlier this year, the long-awaited EU review into the Palestinian Authority school curriculum was published, and that confirmed numerous examples of anti-Semitism. I note his recent announcement that the UK is no longer funding Palestinian teachers to draft and deliver this curriculum, but will he ensure that any further UK support to Palestinian education is conditional on a zero-tolerance approach to anti-Semitism, and that is shown at the UNHCR?
Mr. Speaker, I can assure my honourable friend that the UK government takes a zero-tolerance approach to anti-Semitism wherever it is. The reduction in funding to the Palestinian Authority was in direct response to the ODA prioritisation review, which was itself in response to the economic constraints driven by COVID. We do, however, continue to support the Palestinians through UNRWA, and we will ensure that, as we have done, we press for that education curriculum to be devoid of any examples of anti-Semitism.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I say to the Minister that whilst I would obviously totally agree with bringing pressure to bear on issues like anti-Semitism, nevertheless the humanitarian crisis that exists, in Gaza in particular, is one that ought to shock the world. Lack of access to clean water, lack of proper education, particularly for young girls and women in Gaza. These are things that we as a country still ought to support. Can we have a clear understanding of when that assistance will come back again, because it matters?
Mr. Speaker, as I said, the UK continues to support UNRWA, which does fantastic work in both the West Bank and in Gaza. And on my recent trip to Egypt, I spoke with Egyptian officials about the work that they had done to help support Gaza after the conflict. The best thing that we can all do for the people of Gaza, the OPTs and the wider region, is to push for a sustainable, peaceful two-state solution, and that will remain the foundation stone of UK's policy in the region.
SNP spokesperson Chris Law.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And can I welcome the new Secretary of State for the Foreign Office and International Development into her place, and I hope that she has a long and welcome time in that place. Mr. Speaker, how can this government possibly be serious about supporting the peace process and striving for reconciliation when it's cutting aid spending by 71%? With further deeply damaging cuts expected in tomorrow's budget and spending review, does the Secretary of State seriously consider that slashing his budget not only fundamentally undermines our national security, but it's also against our national interest?
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'd remind the House that because of COVID, this country experienced the worst economic contraction in 3 centuries, and it was absolutely right that we responded to that. We remain, in both absolute terms and percentage terms, one of the most generous aid donors in the world. We are proud of that record, and has been said by myself, my right honourable friends in government. We aim to return to the 0.7% as soon as the fiscal situation allows.